Hello and welcome to another edition of Up the Pilgrims. We once again coming to you live from Ellanders at the Jakeman's Community Stadium. My name is Damien and I'm joined once again by Steaders and by David. Hi guys, how you doing?
Alright, thank you, yeah, good, thanks.
Yep.
All good.
Brilliant. And if you are watching on YouTube, you will see that we are joined once again by a special guest. We have the Boston United Supporters Association Chairman and England Walking Football International, Steve Slater, with us. Hiya Steve, how you doing?
Hi all. I'm very good, thank you.
Good. And going to start off, you've been the chairman now for a few years at the Supporters Association. How are you enjoying it?
Loving it, loving the role, loving the team I've got around me, loving the difference we're making really and how the club's coming together. Obviously we've been blessed because getting promotion next year made this job probably easier than it would have been. But no, really loving the role and I think we are making a difference.
Yeah. And does it take a lot of your time up? I know you're involved obviously with the Wimbledon Wombles as well, amongst other bits and pieces.
Yeah, I mean, Cheryl, the wife, she's secretary, so we do a lot of banging things around at home and making sure, we talk about it, every day really. And then there's these things that we do, running products around to people and talking to other people about the next event and promotions and things like that. So it's always on the agenda, always.
Yeah. And is it quite close, the Supporters Association and the club now? I mean, it seems quite close-knit from outside.
Yeah, I mean, we've started this season probably about 3 months ago having liaison meetings with the club every month. So we get together with the key employees at the club, Bex, Craig, Nick Reese, and so we're having those sort of meetings to make sure what we're doing together rather than individually, because although we want to keep our identity and our voice for the supporters, but it's also important when we're doing events that we don't mix what they're doing within the club as well, because the club's a business, and without the business that the club have here, like Ellanders and the hospitality and the Iron and the Sweet, so we've got to work with them. So we're doing that better now with that understanding and those regular meetings, and they're supporting us probably more than there was in the past as well. So that's brilliant, really.
Yeah, that's really good news. And as chairman of the Supporters Association, you must be proud, like when we go to away matches and the amount of support that travels. I mean, it's not just this season in the higher league, even last season. The amount of supporters that go to away games, compared to a lot of clubs that you see, especially come to Boston, it's remarkable, isn't it?
Well, I think this last weekend was a prime example of that. Top of the table, they bring 282 fans. We go to Barnet, in the bottom four when we go to Barnet, and take 422. So it just speaks for itself. And we've got a loyal fan base, and that's what we're really trying to tap into all the time. But magical times, really, I think. And the away days, if you've never been on one, any supporters out there, get yourself on the couch and see it, because it's a great day.
Yeah. Sometimes away matches are better than home, aren't they, people say?
Yeah, well, I think no matter what club you support, whether it be a Premier League side or whatever, you all seem to have a better away day than you do an home day, because, I'm not knocking all the fans that come here, but, they are really the true loyal supporters that go away, and they want a good day out, and they go there in the right frame of mind to have a good day out, and that's what we do. And, Mick Smallman's his early coach, which is another thing that adds to the occasion as well. So, it's just great.
It is. So, if I'm a supporter and I haven't joined the Supporters Association, but I'm thinking, shall I do it? What are the benefits for me joining?
Well, the benefits really are you're donating your money to the club. It's another way of fundraising. That's what we are. We're an income source for Boston United. Whatever we do, it's always about raising more money for the football club. So, one, it shows your loyalty to the club. And if I know people buy season tickets and people come every week to the game and they buy the golden goals and the 50-50 and show that commitment. But being part of the Supporters Association gives you that voice to sort of tell us what you want and what we can do differently, because we're still learning. We're all volunteers, you know, we've got 15 great volunteers on the committee, but we are volunteers and we are new at what we're doing within a football club. So, you know, we never not listen to people and their suggestions. Whether it's feasible to do what they're suggesting, it's not always the case, because hands are tied sometimes by the club and the red tape that goes around a football club. You know, but it's just being a part of that, and you become part of a family. You know, 2 years ago when I took over the chairmanship, you know, we was taking an average of 31 supporters away on an away coach throughout the year. Last year we grew that to 48, and this year we're probably going to grow that to 60, 65. Fantastic. You know, as an average, and that's what you are on the coach. It's a bit of fun as well, and we do everything, a bit of bingo, a raffle and all that, but it's all about raising money and getting there to support the lads. And let's be honest, you know, these next 19 games are going to be key to us, and more fans that we take away could make that difference, because I believe last year we got promotion because of our support played a major part in those playoffs and those final couple of league games.
Yeah, it was tremendous support last season. So especially the playoff games, there was something special, weren't they?
Yeah.
So you have quite a few events as well, raising money. What events have you got coming up this year or next few months?
Well, next few months we've got, in a couple of weeks, we've got Hall of Fame, which is mainly being put together by Chris Cook and Glenn Madison. Really, they took ownership of that.
So do you know who's going in yet?
Well, we're waiting to finalise that, really.
Right.
But we should know that in the next couple of days, so we can get it out there, because we've only got a week then to sell the tickets. But it'll be a great day. We've got Christian James going to do some interviewing. We're hoping that some of the current squad and the manager might be staying over, because it's Saturday we're at home to Eastleigh, so on Friday night they could be here, so we might even be able to get those up on stage and have a chat with those, some of the players. But, you know, people like Martin Hardy have been talked about, Gate White's been talked about, Slade's been talked about. So, you know, we've got 5 or 6 names in the frame. We're just trying to finalise the names to that, so we can get that. So that would be a great thing. 5 are to come, you know. It's nothing really to hear some great stories really for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
We've got afternoon tea. We've got Elvis afternoon tea with Ginty, the local Elvis legend.
Oh, no, I do know him. Yeah.
And we've got, you know, at the moment we've got about 4 tickets left to sell out for 70 people here in Ellenders. We did it last year with the 40s theme, which went down really well, and that's probably why we've sold out again this year, more or less. We're doing bingo on a regular occasion now. We've booked 4 a year now. We've got the next 3 dates in. Next one's in April.
Really popular, that one, folks. Very popular night. Yeah.
And that one, because we have a chosen charity, we as a committee think it's important to give things back to the local community as well of just the football. So the bingo nights, we do it half for the club and half for our chosen charity, which is the Butterfly Hospice. So this last one we did a couple of weeks ago, we raised over £1,000, so 500 quid going to the Butterfly Hospice and 500 quid going to the club. That's there. We're in talks with the football club to do a joint end of season do, which looks as if it'll be in Ellenders. We're working on making it a free event, probably keeping the concourses open so people can get food in the concourse even after the game, and doing it back in here.
Okay.
Representing the trophies and having a bit of an interview with those that's won the trophies. So we're working very hard with the club on that and sorting out a date. That's always difficult because you don't know when you, with all these rearranged games, we might be playing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, that final week, Mark, if we're going to Rochdale for the 3rd time. No, don't joke, please. So we're working on that. We've got involved with the community day this year, which is we brought forward a week early so we don't clash with Eckington Show. So that'll be the 20th of July, and we're trying to make that bigger and better. We're thinking of having live music and a wagon with a stage type of thing.
Nice.
Plus, craft fair and a food market and all that. So inviting local people again, people like Biz probably and some of the other performing arts people to play a part in that. Really.
So much going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. So going to keep you busy.
Yeah. I mean, we had a monthly meeting, so it was our meeting last night, which was sort of an hour and a half of banging things out. One event, one fundraising idea we're coming up with at the moment, and just sort of finalising is we're going to do a draw for a season ticket through in March, April, and May. So we'll have 3 season tickets. The idea is we're looking for £5 to buy 3 squares, 600 squares to sell, and that'll raise us again 650 quid towards the club, which does all go back into the club.
Yeah. Fantastic. And you've got a survey out at the moment.
Yeah.
You're asking supporters to fill in. I saw it come up again today and advertisement for it. So can you tell us more about the survey?
Yeah, I mean, we always think it's important to get feedback on how we're performing and what we're not doing that we might be able to do. And as I say, we're a fan base of 2,500 to 3,000 people that come to the club throughout the year. We need to know from them what they think of what we're doing and what we could do in the future. We did it last year. It gave us some answers last year of things that helped to shape our benefits on this year's package. It helped to say to us, it was worth doing the gold members because, the year before was the first time that we moved from a £10 membership that had been on the go for sort of 20 years to £25. This year that's worked because we've signed up 653 members as of last night into the association, and 478, I think, don't quote me on that number, roughly that, have turned out to be gold members. So just the membership alone has raised over £10,000 for the club. Now that's all ring fenced this year, and the club don't get hold of it until August the 1st, because we're an association. If anything happened to it, we have to have the funds to pay the membership back. So we ring fence that for a year, and then all that will get handed over to the club.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big questions in there is how do our supporters want us to spend the money that we raise?
Yeah.
Because although we've had an expenditure, but we've raised over £40,000 this year so far. Yes, there's some expenditure in that costs and takes some of that money away, but the golden goals, are going to look like they're going to raise £12,000 this year.
Yeah.
So how do you, the supporters, want us to spend it? Because this is a new facility. There's not a lot that you need to do with what we've got because it's brand new. It's not like York Street where there's repairs and all that going on. We've got this, nice stadium. Hopefully, we'll all have good news about the fourth stand, and there might be money that we can pump in that direction to do that as supporters. But it is how you want us to spend it, why you're not a member, why you are a member, what do you want as a benefit, We've offered discount to the members in Ellender's on a Wednesday, you get 10% but very few people have taken it up. So, if you talk to the club about how many people abuse that, it's only an handful. So, although people ask for it, now they've got it, they're not using it. So, it is about what they want. But some of the things asked for last year is just not possible because you duplicate an offer that the club's already doing. So, a discount in the club shop, well, you get that with season tickets and all that anyway. So you can't give too much away because all you're doing is taking an income away from the club. What we take in the shop, that's profit that gets played back into the football club. So if we start giving 20% away instead of 10%, all you're doing is robbing the club. okay, he might be helping me as an individual, save
Yeah.
a bit of money, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you know, we want the club to raise money, you know, to spend more money than on players and the facilities. Really.
Of course. So, yeah, to get filling in the survey, where can they find it?
It's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, it's been mailed out to all our members that we've got memberships. We're going to have some hard copies to do it. We're going to take some on the coach on Saturday and have them away games because we're thinking 2.5 hour trip. You've probably got time to sit there and fill it in. So if you don't hand one as you get off the bus, you're not getting off the bus if you ain't filled it in. So, you know, but yeah, all those really.
All of them, and there's an incentive as well, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, the club's offered to give us some money towards hospitality, and we're doing the same. So, you know, we match that. So, you know, there's an incentive to £100 there to be had for somebody. Isn't there?
Exactly.
You
so
know?
to get on to any of the social medias and get it filling in.
Yeah.
100%. So. Just one last question. BUSA Bear, so whose idea was it?
Well, it was mine actually. Okay. We'd been to other clubs and seen mascots.
Yeah.
And mainly, you know, we thought the one at Scunthorpe last year did a cracking job and the one at York, this year was there. So we thought, well, you know, we need to do it, but we need to do it properly. And buy a proper thing. So we got a good sponsorship deal. You know, the company that's done it's paid us $2.5 grand for sponsoring that over a 3-year period.
Right.
You know, so we've got money there to replace, you know, the head if it needs replacing and whatever. But it's just gone down a storm with the younger fans. Well, not just the younger fans, the older ones. You know, Mick's actually taken it to Sheffield Hospital because there's a supporter in Sheffield Hospital that we've got to know about. So Mick knows the people, so he's going to take the costume there and hopefully make their day. You know, we've got involved. We've been in schools with him. He was at J Rose and Dylan's training session the other day. We're having a birthday party for him in, I think, dates we was banging about last night at the meeting, but we're going to put on a kids party for BUSA Bear's birthday party.
That would be brilliant.
So again, that he was involved at Christmas, and obviously, you know, anywhere locally, you know, if we can be there to support and show that we're putting things back into the community, going to schools or going to, you know, openings of the Kia garage. I'm sure he'll make appearance when we open the Kia garage. But yeah, and it's just gone down storm. And on the back of that, you know, we've just had 250 mini BUSA Bears that people have been ordering, and that again has been another source of income. You know, when we've sold all those, and we have, we're just waiting for the 1 or 2 to be collected now. You know, that'll have raised the club another £1,200.
Yeah, I did come in last week and purchase one for the
Yeah.
wife. She wanted one, she demanded one, so we came in and got one for
There's been a lot
her.
of that going on. I'm sure.
So one's got a new home.
Yeah, and we will do another one next year. But our idea is to make it collective. So next year we'll have it in a away kit rather than things. So each year we'll change the design of the kit, unless there's a special kit comes out. You know, this year, but that's the idea. So you want one this year, but you'll have to have another one next year. Because it'll have the purple kit on, for example. You know.
I'll have to keep spending.
That's it. Yeah.
Exactly. So, just want to ask you as well. With Rochdale, now obviously you've been to a lot of supporters have been to Rochdale twice in the last few months. Unfortunately, as supporters have got there or near there, the game has been postponed. Obviously, Rochdale have been speaking to you guys. Has anything been sorted with that now?
Yeah, it has. I mean, we haven't announced anything as of yet, but you know, I'll give you a bit of an exclusive here.
Here we go.
What Rochdale have agreed to do is they've agreed to pay for the coaches that go to Rochdale for the game now on the 25th, is it, or 18th of March?
That's right.
Yeah. They've agreed to pay for the coaches that we take. We've booked 3 at the moment with 340. We've offered and we have agreed to pay for an S's coach that goes early. So Mick's going to put on a coach as well, so his fans that go can go on their coach, because they've been twice, and Mick's actually got there both times with his coach. We didn't set off on one and we got nearly there with the other one. So it was only right that we look after all our supporters, and that's what we've done. So what we've agreed to do is we're ringing round today, and I think the job's been done really, is just checking all those that went on the Supporters Association coach want to go back on it. And that's what's happened today. And then hopefully from Friday, anybody else that wants to go on the coach, it'll be free of charge for them. What we're going to do is ask for a £5 deposit. But you will get that £5 back when you get on the bus, because we don't want people booking because it's free and then not turning up on the day, and somebody else probably missing out. So we think if there's a bit of a pledge from the supporters to give us £5, but we'll give you it back when you get on the bus. At least there's a bit of a commitment there to do it. So hopefully, you know, a key game for us. You know, we could take 250, 300 fans midweek to Rochdale, because we'll have Mick's bus and our 3 coaches. And if we need a 4th, Rochdale have said we can have as many as we want, you know, and they'll pay for it all. Now I don't think Rochdale would be favourable, because, you know, as a business head, you know, if they didn't pay for the coaches, there'd probably be 30 or 40 of us going. And we'd pay £20 for a ticket, and that'd be it. Well, if they get 300 of us go and we're paying £20 for a ticket, they're going to make a lot more money out of the Boston United fans than they are. But you know, it's a generous offer, and you know, and it's nice, and it's a great opportunity for our fans to get behind our team that night, because you know, hopefully by then, you know, we're on the fringes of, you know, being out of the relegation zone, and that could be a massive 3 points for us to go there on the back end of 300-400 people. We're also encouraging those that travel by their own steam in cars and that to jump on the bus, because they've had an expense as well. They've not paid for coach, but they've paid for the petrol and days out, and a lot of those had got to the game prior to it as well. So we're saying to them, you know, you don't have to spend your petrol money and that again. Jump on the coach. Members, non-members, it's open to anybody that wants to go to Rochdale.
Right. So if you have travelled to Rochdale in the car, you know, maybe book on the coach. So worth it. So just going back to, obviously you have helped the club out immensely over the last few years with one thing or another. What sort of things have you paid for at the club?
Well, just lately the new Keith's kiosk. We funded that. You know, which is our latest purchase. We've got involved with media equipment for them. We've got involved with training equipment, you know, exercise bikes and things like that for them. Equipment for Jim, the groundsman. So, you know, there's lots that we do, and some of it we just donate the money. Because as much as it's about buying equipment, and sometimes you want to see it, you've got to remember that, you know, to put the floodlights on a night game costs money. You know, so we're raising money. So if it means that we can pay for some of the general day-to-day costs within the club, that might free £5,000 or £6,000 up for them to go and buy a new striker or whatever. The one thing we won't fund is players and players' wages or anything like that, because, you know, that's for the club to do that. We don't think that's right. But it is important that we help with the day-to-day running of the football club. And, you know, so anything that they request, we look at. But you know, also there's no point in us raising money and taking money off you guys to sit in a bail in Supporters Association bank account doing nothing. You know, so we don't want the money in there. We want it given to the club so they can invest it how they feel right. You know, so you know, we're in a healthy position as far as the association goes. But it's important that we spend it right, and hence the survey again.
Yeah.
What do you want us to spend it on? You know, we can't make the 10 and 10 foot taller. We can't do, we can't do those sort of things. But putting the handrails in the stand so people can get up and down the.
Yeah.
Now we've got them, it makes you wonder how some of our supporters manage to get down without them.
Yeah,
So it's things like that.
Yeah, and sometimes the stairs can be a little bit slippery, can't they? In there, a gentleman I think fell at the weekend.
Yeah, he did.
And hopefully he's okay. So fingers crossed. But just want to talk about yourself as well for a moment. You're a member of the Boston United walking football team, and you've also been picked for England walking team. How did that feel, getting the call up?
Yeah, well, I played for the England side now for 4 years really. Last year was the First Nations Cup, which was like a mini World Cup really. There were 16 teams in it in our age group, over 60s. Coming from Australia, Canada, Spain, France, Italy, Switzerland. So and we won that, which was very nice to do so. It's done every 2 years, so it's actually been played in Spain in October. So if I'm selected to play again this year, that'll be nice. But you can't rest on your laurels.
No.
The only thing that really goods me about it is sometimes they have training sessions on a Saturday, so I missed the Boston game. I missed the York game because of I was in Morocco playing when we were playing York, so
Not too bad.
some
No,
of it. No.
Morocco.
Yeah. So, but it's an honour and a privilege, to play for your country. And you're playing with good players. There's another guy in the squad that actually played 42 games for Boston United, Graham Collier. Was at Forest and Mansfield and Swindon a bit. So, you're playing with people that played at good level of football. It's good fun.
Yeah, and make some good friends as well.
Yeah, good friends. Hey, we're footballers, aren't we? And if you play football, whether you're 22 or 62, banter in the changing room doesn't change, I can assure you.
Fantastic, that's really good to know.
Just a few more pain-killing tablets before you start.
And a few aches the next morning, maybe. A few more aches.
Yeah,
right. So if anyone wants to join the Supporters Association, Supporters Club, how much is it?
Well, we have 2 memberships.
Yeah.
There's Black and Amber, which is £10.
Right.
And the only benefit of that is the away support being cheaper.
Yeah.
And then we have the Gold, which is £25.
Okay.
And we do a monthly prize draw with that. You get your discounted in L&Ds, you get your free travel, cheaper travel, not free travel. And both of them you can sign up younger pilgrims as well. So under 12s become free. So if you're a full member, £25, you can sign up a gold member child as well. So they get those benefits as well. And same obviously with the Black and Amber.
Yeah.
So and as I say, it's about supporting your club and saying, it's like putting that shirt on. You put it on because you're proud to be a Boston United fan, aren't you?
That's it.
That's why we're all upset at Boston United.
No, I've got mine on. Don't listen to Steve.
And it's that loyalty and being part of the club. But that's £25, and as I say, it's part of the family. A growing family, that's the good thing. It's growing. So the pressure's on next year to get more members.
Of course,
But we'll do our best.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So, right, well, thank you very much. And don't forget, if you do want to become a member, you can do that. You can pop in, you can sign up online, I guess, or you can pop in on a Saturday into Ellender's, and they're right by the entrance. So, brilliant.
That's our table.
Fantastic. Thank you, Steve. Right, hopefully you can hang around while we have a chat about Boston United.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, fantastic. We're going to have a chat about Boston United now and how they've been doing the last few games. I'm going to start off though very quickly about the last podcast we did, because we had Graham Coughlin. I'm not sure if you've seen it or not.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, Graham Coughlin and instead of, was a very enjoyable interview, wasn't it? He came across really well.
A bit like Steve, we
Yeah.
could have sat and talked to him all night,
exactly.
couldn't we? And it didn't feel like it was like being recorded. It just feels like you're just having a chat around a table with him.
Yeah.
He's so down to earth, the guy is, isn't he? And he jumped at the chance. Let's tell the viewers that. He jumped at the chance to come and do it with us. He didn't even need a second invite or need to meet us to vet us or anything. It was none of that. It was all a case of, it was all pro. Yes, I'd love to do it. We'll organise it. We can get a date together. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then when he came and did it, I mean, like I say, some of the stories and some of the things that he came out with about Paul Sturrock and his playing career,
that's right.
about his playing career. But the one thing that Graham Cochran reeks, and that is enthusiasm, isn't it? You know, he's infectious. The guy is infectious. If you talk to him about this place and this team, or you hear him on post-match interviews and things like that, the guy, you want to listen to him, don't you?
You do.
And like I said to you, I think we said it previously in a podcast, you sit there and you nod along because you agree with everything he says. You sit there and go, he's right, you know, and he's all, I can't think I've heard an interview yet where he's been wrong, if I'm quite honest with you. And we've come away as supporters and listened to that and heard his views and gone, that's spot on. Do you know what I mean? And to find that's very unique in terms of a manager of a football club, to be honest with you, because you usually sit there and scratch your head sometimes and think, is he watching the same game as we are? But so far, Graham, you've got them all right. And long may that continue. But no, such a down-to-earth guy, and I hope we can catch up with him again at some time, because like you say, it was a fantastic couple of hours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you'd agree, David.
Yeah, no, it was an amazing experience, to try and give you guys that insight. We tried to ask some of your questions. Some we had to cut out, bear in mind. We couldn't ask all of them because they're a bit too intrusive. But no, it was a really good meeting with him, and he came across exactly like he does on the radio, on the YouTube post-match interviews, and it was just nice to meet him and meet the man in the dugout. And he didn't change at all, to be perfectly honest. He's just a sound, honest bloke, and I think that's good, because it made a pretty polar opposite to the last management team we had. I have to say, some of the interviews that we got from Cully and BUSA, it was just really refreshing to meet him. I think we spoke about this between us all, didn't we? I don't think we'd have got the same out of them as we did Graham, but Graham is here to stay now, and I look forward to his reign, whether he stays next year and what happens at the end of the season. We're all here and we're all ready for the ride.
Yeah. And Steve, have you managed to sit down with Graham and have a chat with him?
He'd come to one of our meetings, to be fair.
Yeah.
And Lee come to last month's meeting, and was, again, like you say, very enthusiastic about what we did. Couldn't thank the supporters enough for both home and away support that we've got. He says it's a special place. You can feel the passion and the want to win and the willingness to do it. And he said he couldn't have asked any more from the supporters than he had since his time here. It's great. And he's obviously knowledgeable, and he's working on his own style and his own way to play the game and what he wants from the players. And he's right, he's got to demand high, because that's what we need. We can't go out there and give 90% in a game, because it's not good enough. And the effort that we've obviously put in the last two home games have proved that we can match those top teams. We've been unlucky in some games, but he doesn't want to ride on luck. He wants to do it without that luck element. He wants to do it because we deserve to do it.
Yeah, really nice guy. And I mean, do you think the Coughlin effect is working in Boston? I mean, since Christmas we've had just one defeat away at Tamworth. Obviously at Spannymoor as well we did. But we're undefeated at home since Boxing Day. Do you think Boston's moving in the right direction, David?
Yeah, it's the stats definitely say so, but he's still so critical, isn't he, in his interviews, and that's what I like to hear. He's critical, even though we're winning games, whether it's in the cup or the league, and we're grinding out results. He still wants more. That's what I love about Cochran, is he's got his spot. He wants us out of this relegation zone, and he won't stop until he can do everything that he possibly can to get us out. And I'm just looking forward to the rest of the season and see how it goes, really, because after these last two results that we've had recently, who knows what can happen.
Exactly. Slater?
Yeah, completely agree. Totally. Yeah. It's been quite a dramatic upturn, hasn't it? And not been leaking so many goals either. I mean, obviously, you know, we lost on penalties twice now, haven't we? I think you mentioned Spennymoor, didn't you?
That's right, yeah.
And you mentioned the National League Cup. I think we went out in the National League Cup because of one goal not scored in a game,
yes,
something like that, wasn't
we won
it?
on penalties in that
but
one,
we
didn't
still
we?
managed to get but again, penalties. Yeah, we won that game on penalties. We didn't lose the game, but we still managed to get exited from the cup. But narrow defeats nowadays. We're not getting tonked 3 or 4-0 like we were at the start of the season, are we? So he's certainly defensively sorted us out, hasn't he? And a quick stat for you: Boston have taken the most points out of the top 3 teams in the National League out of anybody else in the league. 7 from their games so far, albeit not many teams have played all 6 games home and away against them.
Yeah.
But 7 out of I mean, who would have predicted that at the start of the season? You know, if you said you're going to get home and away York wins and a Barnet draw at home, again, you would call me a madman, wouldn't you? Really? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wish they can. Again, vital set. I'm sure Steve would agree. Vital set of fixtures coming up against teams in and around us, which we definitely need to start cashing in on. We've shown we can do the performances, but now we need to start doing it against the teams in and around us to start dragging the other teams back down, don't we?
We do. And I mean, one of the games we had this year was Slater at home. Obviously everyone was hoping for a win, but we were winning until the final 10 minutes. But it's difficult, isn't it? Some of these teams, I mean, they're all fighting at the bottom, aren't they? Ebbsfleet are fighting, even though they're adrift. But it was a difficult game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, you know, when people are in the relegation zone and just above it, you know, it's no different to being in the top 4 or 5, is it? You're fighting for something in life, you know, and I think that's something that we've done. Like as I said, we've played the top 3 teams. We're going to be playing teams in March and April that are probably in no man's land.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes when they've got very little to play for, it does help you if you're really putting that effort in and got that. And we know Graham's going to have the work rate there. He's going to have the effort and commitment to go on and do things. So you know, I think we'll get out of this.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that we will. I've seen enough since Christmas to say, you know, since Graham's took over, when you've watched the game, there might not be massive changes, but there was little green shoots starting to appear all over the pitch and people understanding doing. And obviously, you know, with Zach coming back and Cameron coming back, you know, that's made a big difference, I feel.
Yes.
You know, there's a unitedness within the players and what they're doing. Jimmy Knowles coming back, you know, that lifted the club and lifted the supporters, which makes a big difference. So, you know, I think, you know, we'll be all right.
Yeah. And what do you think? I mean, the Ebbsfleet game, it was a tough game, wasn't it?
It was a tough game, but we were earmarking the points. They would have as well. We were only 1 place above them, so yeah, it was an interesting game.
It was a draw up there though as well, wasn't it?
Exactly.
So...
Oh, that was one of the worst games of the season, to be honest with you, that Ebbsfleet away match. No, couldn't really get anything, but that was a bit early into Cochrane's reign.
Yeah,
but the second one at home, everybody was earmarking and hoping we could get some points from it, but it wasn't to be. But then who expects us to pick up the win against York at home? So,
of course,
we may have got justice there or thereabouts, but we just need to keep picking up some more points now and try and build on this momentum that we've got, especially with the game that we've got coming up this weekend against Halifax. It's going to be hard, but they're up in the top 6, I believe, or the top 7. But you never know. If Boston play like they did last week and we held one of the first place team to a draw, even though it's 10 men, but it's still a hard task. Who knows what can happen? Hopefully we can go there and be coming away with 3 points at the weekend. But
exactly.
It's all to pay for, isn't it?
So just going back though to one of the games, the only defeat of the year so far, Tamworth. Dreadful day really. Poor team performance all round. Steaders, I mean, you know, what did you make of that one? 'Cause I mean, Graham was very upset.
What could you say about that game? Yeah, not a lot really. Can you? You know, we played into their hands, didn't we, that day? And that's the point of it. It became a fight and a scrap. And if you go there and play that way, it's only going to end one way, isn't it? You're never going to win the football match, are you? We played to their strength, we didn't play to our own, did we? And we didn't turn up that day, did we? I think that's probably the lowest point of Coughlin's reign so far, obviously, during whilst he's been here, I would say, after that game. You know, I think a lot of home truths came out probably from him then as well.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe he just realised the size of the task that he's got at hand as well from that
I was
game.
actually frightened he was going to give up, actually.
Yeah,
at one point in the interview.
Yeah, he's probably learnt more from that game than any other game as well for that
Yeah.
reason. So he seems that kind of guy, doesn't he? You know, he seems everything is a learning curve or a learning opportunity. And something to get the mistakes like written out for the next one, but yeah, it was just such a poor performance all round. I don't think anybody can say that they played particularly well that day. The best part about that day was the fans.
Yeah. And for us, the fans there, I think the best part was leaving.
Not the birthday present I hoped for.
No, that's right. But I mean, it was amazing to see like players like Tonks as well. I mean, his throw-ins, unbelievable, weren't they? I mean, Boston were just kicking the ball out, and the throw-ins were like a free kick, weren't they, Steve? It was.
Yeah, I mean,
it was just,
when you watch, and I know you're talking about the Premier Division side, but when you watch Tottenham playing the week before, very rarely did they give them the opportunity to launch the ball onto their goalkeeper, because they never gave away, you know, or very few sort of throw-ins in those dangerous areas, and that's all we did. We seemed to panic on the ball. We didn't have any culture where we just took a touch and trying to do something with it. It was just, bloody hell, I don't want to make a mistake, so I'm going to get rid of this ball as quick and as far as I can, and it often won't fire enough. And yeah, we played into their hands. It was a poor performance, and you know, devastating really, because I thought, you know, having been on the back of the Tottenham, their eye would have gone. It was a good time to go and play them, but obviously not. And we'll just write that one off as a day out. And good job it was only a short trip home. It wasn't too suicidal on the coach.
Bad day at the office, that one. But we went on the week after. We played York City. And got a fantastic 3-1 win against a team that were very much near the top of the league at the time. And Steaders, I mean, what a game, what a performance.
Polar opposite
Was,
to the
it?
Tamworth
Yes,
game.
it was.
Completely polar opposite. They York, for me, before they scored their goal, looked like probably the best footballing side we've had down here this season to me. They kept the ball so well, didn't they? Albeit they didn't really cause us too many issues at the back. I mean, Cam Guggery made 2 fantastic saves in that first half at 1-0, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2-1 is ridiculous. Watch it back and on the highlights, folks, if you can, because James Lovelace caught it lovely, where he's kind of like palmed the ball out from behind him. I don't know how he's managed to do it. So he dived backwards, but his arms kind of like extended backwards. It's kind of like flapped at it, but he's managed to get so much of a hand on it. It's gone over, and I don't know how he's managed that, to be honest with you, to keep us in that game as well. And then to score just before half time just takes all their momentum and wind out their sails a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah.
But you can't say that we didn't deserve that. I think there was a period in that first half, I think it was about half an hour-ish, where it got a little bit ugly, where there's a few tackles flying in.
Yeah.
We were getting on the end of them tackles there. We were coming out best, weren't we?
Yes.
And all of a sudden, the momentum just changed in that game, where they couldn't pass it around as much, and we were just starting to implement our game on. Second half, you kind of expected them to come out a bit, which they did, in fairness to them, and started passing, moving. But at this time, it wasn't causing efforts on goal or anything like that. I can't remember Cam making too many saves second half.
Not second half, no.
But we completely dominated, I think, personally, that second half in terms of chances, and well deserved 3-1 win.
Yeah.
And no offence, but we had 1-1. It could have been 4-1, you know what I mean, or even put a little bit more gloss on it. But hey, let's be happy with the 3 we did see, because I don't think there could be one York City fan that came, and there was a lot of them, and thanks for them for coming down for the game. I don't think there's one of them that could say they deserve 3 points on that day, that day or game,
really.
and that Boston should be begrudged of that win, because we were fantastic that day.
Yeah.
First goal for Jimmy Knowles as well, wasn't it?
Yes.
Nice homecoming for him.
It was, yeah, and I think that was on his birthday as well, wasn't it?
It was.
I believe so. So nice birthday present for him as well. But what
How
did
do you? Yeah, I'm going to think. How would you think that York did, David, when they came down?
I much the same as you, to be perfectly honest. First 20 minutes, I was, it's going to be another long day. It's like relapsing to Tamworth from the week before, but no, we dug in, and then we just nicked that goal, Teal at the back post. Lovely. Going into half time is something to hold on to. But I was actually feeling quite nervous because you'd expect York to come out scrapping because they're 1-0 down. I said if we get through the first 10 minutes, we've probably got a chance, and we did. And we built on that. Like Tom said, the tide turned a little bit. Once we sort of weathered the storm a little bit, they couldn't pass it as much, couldn't knock it about us as much, and we started getting a bit more dirty, a bit more physical, implemented our game on them. That's one thing I was quite surprised that they relied on their passing ability that much, that they sort of overlooked their physical ability. But like, if we can latch onto that and tap into that, that's exactly what we did. We started winning the tackles and winning the 50-50s, and we come away with the ball and won it in a great area up the pitch after their fullback loses it, whip it down the line to Jimmy Knowles at the back post, and he taps it home. And yeah, it was just a great day. You know, it was probably. It's definitely up there for one of the best games at this stadium, I think. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, atmosphere-wise
and result-wise, it was amazing.
And the way Boston played as well.
Yeah, to be fair. And we always beat York, don't we? It's a running thing now. Whenever York City comes to town and we go to them, I don't think we've lost in the last 7 or so. Something stupid like that. We're definitely their bogey team, but yeah, it was a great day. It was a great day, and it was preceded by another great result after that.
It was a shame a few years ago when they beat us in the playoffs.
We didn't turn up that day, did we? But the away game that season we did, because we won the away game 1-0 that season with Danny Elliott on that Tuesday night. I was there that night. And that was a good. That was Femi Siriki's debut for us, who's tearing it up now for Sheffield United, isn't he? So I can remember that night vividly. We signed him and we all thought, what we're going to get here, and he debuted him, didn't he? It was Cox back then, weren't it? It was great. It was, wasn't it? It was Cox back then. Yeah, and then Paul debuts him and he has an absolute stormer. But no, York don't like us at the minute, do they, in terms of playing us? But unfortunately, Steve was in the sunshine of Morocco. So you didn't get to see any of the game then, Steve?
No. I've just obviously live scores was kicking in, and I couldn't believe it when I kept seeing it 1-0 down. You think, what do you want? Especially because my mate was there. He's a Forest fan, and we got Forest on the telly, and they was getting stuffed 5-0 by ball at the time. So he sat there with a long sour face, and I was all sort of excited and thinking, bloody hell, that's great, isn't it? Didn't expect that one.
Brilliant, yeah, that's really good. Of course, the weekend after, back down to earth again with Spennymoor game. 2-0 up, back to 2-2, then we went down 3-1 on penalties. We won't really talk about that one too much in the FA Trophy.
Talk about bogey sides.
Yes.
They are our Achilles heel.
Yes.
We haven't beaten them ever, I don't think. I think in league or cup. I can't remember actually seeing Boston beat them.
I think it's like 13 or 14, something silly.
It's something ridiculous like that, isn't it? Christian, you can you can do a stat and prove us wrong, but yeah, bogey side. Definitely, we could never beat them, could we? No matter how hard we tried.
So we're the bogey team for York, but then we played our bogey team the week after.
So I say highs to lows, but yeah, then it was such a shame because that was a good chance to get into the quarterfinals, wasn't it?
It was.
Of the FA Vars, and just give us a little bit more of a spring in our step, because obviously winning cup games brings momentum as well as much as league games do, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Albeit, the fixture congestion might have said otherwise.
Yeah.
And that would have meant, I believe, Steve, if we'd have got through the next round, would have been the day of the Dagenham away game. You see, so we expect a very decent away following for that game. But to put that to a Tuesday night, Dagenham versus Boston on a Tuesday night has the same kind of feel to it, does it?
On a Saturday.
100% than a Saturday game. So. Yes, it was bad that we lost, but in hindsight, it might actually work better in our favour. So,
But good luck to Spennymoor as well. They've got Sutton United in the next round away. So good luck to them for the rest of the competition, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we went on to this past weekend, and we played Barnet. Of course, it was mentioned at home. Game started off. I thought it was a bit of a Barnet just playing the ball around. It was a bit of a training session for them, In fact, I was hoping we were going to get our own ball at one point, so we could actually have a touch of the ball. But obviously things progressed, and then that nasty tackle by Danny Collins, and obviously the injury as well, sending off, and it really turned the game around, didn't it? David?
Yeah, first off, I hope O'Shea's all right, and it was a nice little touch actually. We talked about communication, didn't we, from the club in our last podcast with Graham, and the club came out the same night on Twitter and tweeted about O'Shea and how it wasn't believed that he's got a fracture. But yeah, it was good to see that, you know, people's thoughts are getting out there and getting recognised, and it was good to see that O'Shea hadn't also fractured his leg, because I believe Dan Anshed's done nearly exactly the same thing.
That's right.
He's broken it, but no, O'Shea hasn't, hopefully, but he's getting some medical treatment this week, so we'll see how it is. But yeah, from then on, Boston had chances, lots and lots of chances. It just stretched the game, you know. We were going wing to wing, trying to move the ball. The goal didn't come, unluckily, but when you think about it, it's probably a good point against the team that are at the top of the table. People are saying 2 points drop. Personally, you know, aside of their quality, you just have to look at them when they had the 11 men on the pitch. Like you said, we could barely get a touch on the ball. So I think coming away from it, it's a good point, but we've just got to build on it next week.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, do you think it was a point gained or 2 points dropped?
Point gained all day long. I think everybody came probably expecting. I think the York one result maybe just helped a little bit more than anything. Like you say, again, momentum's the word, isn't it? If you can get the momentum at home, then you can achieve great things. But yeah, no. A point gained for me. It was interesting to hear the Barnet manager's interview after. I don't know if any of you guys heard of it, but it was he didn't like the referee much. It's fair to say. He mentioned about booking their goalkeeper for time wasting, and then actually cited Cameron Gregory doing exactly the same for exactly the same length of time. To the fact that he was timing it on his watch. And didn't get a yellow card for the same thing. Very strange. Of course, he would also leap to the defence of his player for the challenge itself. I mean, I've watched it back. It's not nice to see, is it? On anybody. You don't wish anybody on that at all, do you? You know, and unfortunately, these things happen during football matches, don't they? You know what I mean? And that's the risk these players take. And unfortunately, like I say, he's come from Lincoln City, and it's not a break, but sometimes these leg injuries can be just as bad as breaks. You know, you do ACL or something like that, then that's your season done, isn't it? So we just went there and news on him. We wish him all the best, because I actually think he was just coming into his own as well as a player. You know what I mean? I think he was something we needed, actually. I think he's been a very good knit between the defence and the midfield. Fantastic little workhorse in there, and just starting to get the performances out of him. It's such a shame for the lad and for the loan as well from the two, you know, between the two clubs. But we wish him all the best.
Yeah, hopefully he will be back before the end of the season, and we will get to see him play again. But I mean, he looked visibly upset when he came off, and I know he got a hand around his shoulder arm around his shoulder from Graham, which was nice to see. So some encouraging words for him as well. But Steve, what did you take of the Barnet game?
Yeah, well, no different than what everybody else is saying, really. You know, first 20 minutes, you know, they just played the ball about and used it, but it didn't really hurt us, really.
No.
And it was just fancy football and looking nice. They had good players in good areas of the field that weren't putting a foot wrong, really. And I thought, well, that's fine, because they're not hurting us, and we'll grow into the game, and hopefully, you know, that would make it better sort of second half, and we'd probably have a go, because I thought Graham's probably set it up to keep it as tight as we can for as long. You know, if you're aside and after 60, 70 minutes you're still 0-0, then you can turn the corkscrew and have a go then. But if you're out the game 2 or 3-0 by the time you get to that stage, then it's pointless. So I thought tactically, again, we was doing the right things. Tackle obviously changed the game in the sense that they go down to 10, but you know they're a good team, and they're good players, and they still try to play football in the right way, to be fair to them. You know, yeah, they all play the games and trying to waste a bit of time, but you know, and I agree with what their manager probably said. You know, first half we was doing that because we wanted to stay in the game as long as we can, and at the end, last 10 minutes, you know, we had a good go at them.
We did.
And you know, blocks, they was flying and flinging themselves at the ball to keep it out of the net in any shape or form. I like the way we switched to 3 at the back and pushed the wing backs on, you know, and changed that to really have a go at them, and that worked and made them change shape. So yeah, we was unlucky, but I agree, you know, quarter 3, if you'd stopped every fan out here and said you can have a point and we'll go home,
Yeah.
we'd have all said yes.
We would have done.
You know, and so it's a point game for me and not
Yeah.
2 lots.
Yeah. I mean, since Graham's come in, we've signed a few players. We've had Connor Teal, Gallagher, Jimmy Knowles, Ollie Green, Dan Adshed, James Gow, amongst a few. You know, we've got a few injuries as well. Do you think, though, he needs some more players, Steaders? Do you think this Graham could do with some more players leading up? Especially, we've got a few games coming up, haven't we, on a Tuesday and a Saturday?
Yeah, I think the schedule's probably going to dictate this more than anything
Yeah.
else. You know what I mean? Like you say, obviously, like you say, with the injuries we've still got as well, I would say he probably still needs a couple of bodies through the door.
Yeah.
Where, and obviously the where and when, should I say? We're not sure. They're the two questions only he can answer, aren't they? But yeah, it's definitely some areas I think that we probably could improve on. I don't know exactly where he's going to sign them.
No.
I mean, you know, I don't know what you gents think, but it's looking more settled than it has, and
Yeah.
that is for sure, isn't it? For me, a little
Yeah.
bit. I think the Frankie Maguire injury is probably bugging him the most out of all of them, because to me he's been very good this season. I've loved a bit of Frankie out there whenever I've seen him, to be honest with you. Always hard worker and a ball winner. And I've liked really what I've seen of him this season, so I think that one probably will be haunting him more than
Yeah.
others. But is that going to force his hand to just get somebody in, knowing that maybe he could be back after a few weeks? I don't know. It'd be really interesting to hear what your thoughts on it, and all the positioning wise,
Yeah.
where you think we probably need to strengthen. Because, like I say, I'm not too sure myself.
No, because I mean, we've got Ollie Green, who signed last week, but I think I heard Graham saying on Saturday after the Barnet game that he's a couple of weeks from
Fitness
he hasn't
wise,
really
yeah.
trained much, has he? He says he's been at Livingston, I believe it was, so he just needs a couple of weeks, get match fitness. Might be on the bench this Saturday, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's probably a good shout.
Yeah, it might come on if he had a good week's training. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about Pemi Edegiro as well? I mean, obviously he's been sent back to Peterborough now. What do you think?
Well, to be honest, I like Pemi, and I think he'll be one in the future that we
Yeah.
might look and see his name bandied about
Yeah.
in decent level of football. I think, you know, it was a bit bigger step for him. I think if he'd gone to a National League North side,
Yeah.
he'd have probably held his own a bit better. He was playing against wiser, clever, few old heads there that sort of made it difficult for him, really. But I think he's got a bit of potential, and you know, wish him best wherever he goes, because, you know, Peterborough have got a good record of picking people up and making money out of good players and turning them into a bit of money. So, you know, I think they might have found one there, but I just think it was probably too early for him to come and make a difference here, especially in the side that we had and the style that we was playing at that time. I think the other signings that we've just been so unlucky with injuries, really. You know, you go through the season when we've lost key people at key stages, you know, and you know, Gregory going missing, you know, it's bad enough that he gets sent off, but then to be out for, you know, 12 weeks or whatever because he broke his jaw, you know, that rubbed salt in the wound a bit, you know. We've missed Zach and Woodsy as well, you know, they've come back, and they're probably people that, with a fixture list of Tuesday, Saturday, one that we've got to manage, because they are prone for injuries, you know, with pulls and whatever, you know. So that's something we've got to look at, really. And we've just been so, you know, every time we seem to sign a midfield player, and they've had a couple of games and got into it and started doing good for us, you know. Then they get injured, and it's similar sort of injuries in all cases, and we're back to where we started, really. So, you know, it's we've just, I think we've not had a lot of luck on our side this year, really.
No.
You know, injury-wise. I know every club could probably say that, but ours is just, you know, they've not been niggles, they've been bad injuries that have cost us, you know, and we forget about Mitch, you know. Mitch went,
Roberts,
you know, and again, I thought
He looked great.
great player that could put his foot on the ball, never always looked composed and looks as if he had time. read the game well, did a good job. It was
Yeah.
a bit of cover in the left back, sort of left back three. So we have.
Yeah. David, how do you feel about the new signings, Penny going, and I mean, where do you think we need to maybe strengthen?
I honestly couldn't tell you. It's whatever Graham wants to do, isn't it? Maybe not for the cover reasons, but maybe just a few more the right people in the dressing room to try and drive us there. Maybe go for more of like a responsible old head, maybe, but they're going to be expensive, aren't they? We've known that. He's always said that he's wanted experience. Not much has really come through the door. I think it was interesting about that Ollie Green signing that he signed him when he's not up to fitness. I trust him, but it's a bit interesting signing a player who's not
ready to go.
Not ready to go, because that's exactly what we needed. We need somebody to come in the door and get the boots on and start going. But that's a bit interesting. On Pemi, he hadn't played much football. I believe he only played at Step 5 before he got bought up by Peterborough. He's gone back on loan to Farnborough in the National South now.
Okay.
So hopefully he can get the score sheet there a couple of times. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't think he was ready. I honestly don't think he was ready. Peterborough signed him and shipped him straight back out. So that's normally what they do with their youth talents. But like Steve said, I think there's something there. It's just probably a bit too big of a jump too quickly into his career. Stepping into a professional environment when he's only played Step 5 football before. His numbers were good, but his numbers weren't that good for the National League, and he was unproven. He was an unproven talent, and that's ultimately what he was in the end. Bit parts, the here and there, showed a bit of excellence. That Gainsborough equaliser.
Yes,
wow,
that's one thing he'll be remembered for.
Little things here and there, he was good, but it's just about perfecting his all-around game. But no. Interesting seeing what we're going to be doing over the couple of weeks. Probably just bringing in the bodies for the fixtures and for replacing some of those injured players. But no, we'll see what happens. I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, and we've got Halifax, of course, at the weekend. Steaders, how do you think that's going to go?
Well, there's 3 people on the coach, that's for sure, on the BUSA coach. So you better get booking up that second BUSA coach before Saturday. Tough ask, isn't it? Top 6, top 7 side at the minute. I've never actually been to Halifax for a game before, so this is a new ground for me personally. So, and I think this season's been good for that as well, Steve. Is that people will be able to tick off a few of these grounds that they've never ever been to before. So, because we're used to playing in the same league for the last 16 years or 14 years, or what seems like 300, because you go to the same places every season. But now we've had the opportunity not to do that and go visit some new grounds. But it's a tough old ask at Halifax, I think again, if somebody said a point now, I'd snatch their hand off, to be honest with you, at that away game. But I don't think draws are enough for us at the minute. I think we're going to have to start winning games sooner rather than later. We can't keep relying on other teams dropping points around us either, can we? We've been quite lucky in that recently, to be honest with you, that not many have managed to leap away from us too far. But we don't want that gap getting any bigger than it already is, do we?
No, I agree with you there. I think it's going to be a tough ask. I say Halifax are doing okay this season. Up at the Shay, I've been there once before, many years ago. So it's going to be a difficult game. I have seen though in 5 appearances at the Shay, it's a win each and 3 draws. So
draw on your pool scoop on them, folks. Yeah, for sure.
So
that's it. Or Steve's BUSA predictor on the way. What do you think? We'll have to put it down for a draw.
You go to the weekend? Or?
Yeah, I'm definitely going. Yeah. I think Graham will set up to keep it tight really again. A bit like he did probably against Barnet really, and stay in the game for 60, 70 minutes and then have a go at them. And hope our level of fitness that is drilled into them and that will make a difference in the last 20 minutes. We've just got to not concede early and stay tight. We've said, I think Teal's come in and done a great job at the back. I think, he's been unlucky really, because I thought Saturday, Zach Mills or Teal as man of the match. They're always going to pick Zach Mills, but I thought Teal did just as good a job, without, Mills just shows that bit of class and comfort on the ball that, you know, I thought Teal won his fair share of headers.
Yeah.
I thought it was his reading in the games gets better and better, and you know, he's working in good partnership. But I think we'll not get a defeat at Halifax. That's what I'm thinking. I think, you know that the pressure's on them.
Yeah.
You know, they've got to stay in the hunt. So, you know, they could get, you know, overcommitted and do things because, you know, they're going to have the crowd wanting them to go on a draw. They'll see a draw as a bad result for them.
Right, yeah.
And if we're in at 70 minutes and it is still 0-0 or 1-1, then, you know, the pressure's still on them to go and get the winner. We would be happy with the draw, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, you know, we are better now of hitting teams on the break.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we did that because we didn't move the ball early in the season quick enough to the front man and get and we knows his pace and that, you know, there is other things. You know, I mean, we have a predictor in the supporters association, the committee. We all do a predictor every year, every game on the Boston game. So I have gone a draw this time. But I did go a draw against Barnet as well.
That's good.
So I was there. Some people do that predictor with their head, and others do it with their heart.
I was
And,
going to say, how have you done over the season?
well, I'm mid-table. I'm not okay. I think I've got 8 right now. 8. The leader's on about 12 or 13, I think.
Brilliant.
They're in it for the money.
Taking it really seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. And David, are you looking forward to the weekend?
I'm looking forward to it. Another new ground for me.
Yeah.
Nice stadium. That's if it's on. You know, Halifax is renowned for having another 4
Dare you
pitches.
say that?
We'll see, won't we? We'll see.
Steve's not happy with that. Steve's not.
Just stating the truth.
He's already drafted the email to Halifax. Just changed the name from Rochdale.
I see the Spennymoor game's already been called off tonight.
Yeah.
So,
Not too much rain forecast though.
There isn't between now and the weekend.
Which is good because
So-
it doesn't look like it takes a lot of rain to call a game off up there. But
No.
but hopefully it'll all be fine. Yeah.
Touch wood.
Yeah. another tough game, but no. If we play like we did against Barnet and we did against York, and like Steve says, we keep it tight because that's what we were doing. You know, we had Knowles at top on his own for 40 odd minutes till we got the red card. Yes, we were most of the time hitting it up to absolutely nothing. But we've got a couple of players back into the defend. And it's just about staying in the game. You know, you get through the blocks and the periods of time in the game, you've got a chance. As long as it's only about 1-0 at half time.
Yeah.
As long as we just don't get trounced or just flushed away by their quality. But no, it'll be an interesting game. I couldn't really tell you how it's going to go. We'll have to see on Saturday how we fare and how many points we come away with by 5 o'clock. None or 1 or 3.
Yeah, hopefully 3.
Hopefully.
Really looking forward to it anyway on Saturday. I'll be going as well, so looking forward to the
Be a
game.
good day out.
It will be this weekend. So, right, well, my thanks to Steve.
You're welcome.
Hope you've enjoyed it, and thanks for giving us all the information. And don't forget, you can join the supporters club. Just pop into Ellender's on a Saturday, and you can always pop in, join up, fill in the survey as well. Much appreciated, and maybe you could win a prize for Ellender's. So you just never know. So thank you, Steaders. Thank you, David.
Cheers.
And we'll be back again very soon on another edition of Up the Pilgrims.
Up the Pilgrims.
The Pilgrims.